If you're an author considering doing direct sales from your website directly to your audience, you are probably already aware that this is a really big undertaking, and this can be a very overwhelming process. But there are some things you can do to make it less overwhelming and still effective, still efficient, and still profitable for you. Now, a lot of people go into this thinking, if I'm doing direct sales, it has to be open year-round. Everybody has to have access at all times. This is just the biggest myth I want to bust here. You do not have to do it year-round. It doesn't have to be an all-the-time thing. You can choose to do this on your own schedule because it's overwhelming. It is a lot of work to get an order, to get your book, to sign your book, to package your book, to take it to the post office, to return home, only to find somebody else purchasing, and you're going to have to do it all again. So we want to make sure we're making this effective and efficient for you. We need to systematize and streamline this. So I want you to really consider how you can be streamlining the process. We've talked a lot about how to do the packaging and how to mail things and how to set things up to be automated so you don't have to do a lot of the heavy lifting on this one. But it doesn't take away the fact that you're still signing, packaging, and delivering to the post office a ton of books. So I want you to be smart about how you do this, especially if your post office or whatever mailing platform you're going to be using is not directly next to your house. It's going to mean you have to get in your car and drive there. It takes gas, it takes time, it takes finding a parking space. There's a lot that goes into it. And you're going to have to consider all of that in your pricing for your book. Because if you're constantly having to drive to the post office or wherever and take a quarter and put it in the meter after you've wasted your time finding parking because everybody's there and it's really busy and you have to stand in line, that eats up your time to write your books to make more money. You have to charge for these things. So unless you want to actually charge for these things, you have to do this in a more efficient way. So you can do this in a lot of different ways. One of the ways that I like is to designate specific cart open times, meaning people are able to access those signed copies from you. And this can look like a lot of different things. You may be the person who once or twice a year, or maybe once a quarter, wants to do this. And for 1 week, you will have cart open, meaning any of your fans during that 1 week can come and purchase whichever of your books you want. And then you have 1 day when you mail them out. Now, in other videos, we are talking about how not to really upset the people who are shipping the books for you by bringing in hundreds of packages at once. Make sure you watch that video about mailing your books. It's important. But you want to make sure that you are doing this so that you are only making 1 or 2 or 3 trips to the post office and taking a bunch at once. You should not be going for each individual book. That eats up your time. It eats up your gas. It eats up the money you're putting into the meter. It's a lot, and you shouldn't be doing that. So you can decide that you will have you can have your cart open at all times, but you have designated shipping times. So you can say anything purchased during this month will be shipped out on the 31st, or on the last day of the month, or on the first day of the next month. So if it's January 5th and you order on January 5th, your book will be mailed out on February 1st. Have it very clear on your website. If you want to leave it open year round, tell them when you go to the post office or to the UPS or FedEx or wherever it is. Give them the schedule so that they know when you are available to ship that. And that might mean they wait 1 day and it's shipped. That might mean that they wait 3 weeks for it to be shipped, depending on your schedule. Now, if you're getting a high volume of this, you can go more often. Or if you're getting a very low volume and you want to just ship it out as people order it, that's okay. But as soon as you start to get that middle ground where you're making a trip, several times a week, that's just silly and a waste of your gas and your time. So you're going to have specific days. You can say all books are shipped out on Fridays. Fridays are your designated shipping day. So if they order on Monday, they got to wait till Friday. If they order on Thursday, they're there on Friday. You can say it's once a month, twice a month. You can say it's the 1st and the 15th. You can decide. You're in charge of your shop, but it has to be clearly displayed on your website. You can also do just designated times. Maybe a couple of times a year, you're going to do a 1-month sale. And for all March, it's just March Madness, and you get to sell all of the things and all of the stuff. And you have the opportunity to do it just for that one period of time where it's going to be overwhelming to you. And then that's it. You can decide if it's going to be a quarterly thing, a seasonal thing. You can decide if it's going to be once or twice a year. You can decide whatever you want. And you can change things. You can do it just for sales. You can literally just say, I haven't done this in a while. I feel like doing a special sale. Hey guys, I'm going to have a sale, direct sale where you can get that signed copy. It's open from this day to this day. And you can do it just whenever you feel like. It doesn't have to be, again, a year-round thing. It doesn't have to be a monthly or a weekly thing. It can be It's a fun Tuesday. I feel like doing a sale. Let's have a sale, guys. And you can open it up for however many days you want. It can be a surprise. It can be planned. You can do it just for your newsletter, just for your social media. Your goal is to make it manageable. So what's manageable for you? For some people, it's going to be a lot easier to go once a week or to go twice a month. For some people, it's not going to be that manageable, and you're going to want to do something more like just a random flash sale or just open for 1 month of the craziness, or it might be something where you only have it open the first week of the month, and then those other 3 weeks are not available to get those signed copies. You can do it however you want. You can have the specific days that you're going to be mailing things out, and they can just wait, and you have that information up there, and they have to agree to it. Add a checkbox if you can on your sales page to say, I understand this book will not be shipped out until the following whatever day, so that they know and you're managing those expectations. It's not about how long they have to wait for it. It's about informing them that they do and making sure that they agree to that. So with this, we're just making this as manageable as possible. So start thinking, how can you be creative with this? Quarterly sales? Open all the time, but only shipping on 2 days of the month? Do you want to do it in a different way? Think it through, be creative, and be extremely clear on your website and anytime you talk about it on social media so that people understand the process and understand what's going on. Now, you do not have to go in depth explaining this. You do not owe anybody an explanation on how your business works. So if somebody comes to you and says, well, why are you only shipping things out on the first day of the month? You can say, that is just what the schedule permits. That's what I have to do to make sure all the books are into me on time. You could say things, or you could say that's just the way that it is. It's up to you how much of information you're going to give them. I would not give them a huge paragraph of information on why it is on the sales page, on your checkout cart, on your website. I wouldn't do that, but you can do what you want. It's all up to you. But business-wise, that's probably not the best practice. Just tell them the way that it is, and if somebody questions it, you can decide what you're going to be doing. You can also include that information in the terms of service on your website, which you're mandated legally to have on your website. Not sure if you noticed, but make sure you check out episodes on that one. And so you want to make sure that you are doing this in a way that's going to be functional for you. Do not spend all of your time going to the post office instead of doing things with your kids, with your dogs, in your writing, in your business, with your people. Be very clear, because it is a very taxing, very stressful, very energetically draining thing to do. Can it be profitable for you? Yes, but it can absolutely make you hate the entire process. It did to me. And so I have to come up with ways to make it more efficient and more effective for me, because I was going every single time I got an order and it was ridiculous. And now I just don't like it. I just don't like doing it because it was so much extra work that was completely unnecessary for me when they could just also go to Barnes & Noble and get my book. So take into consideration what's going to work best for you. If you want to do flash sales or special occasions, if you want to do quarterly, monthly, weekly, whatever you want to do, decide and then try it for a while. I would let it go for like a year before you mix it up. So try it, test it, see how it works. And then if you need to tweak things or add in little like flash things if you want for special occasions, feel free, but do not overwhelm yourself. Less is more, especially as you're learning how to do this. I would start less and then build to having it more available to people, because when you start small, it's easier to navigate. It's easier to learn what works and what doesn't work, so that when you open it up to a higher volume and a longer period of time they can access it, you already have it figured out, and it's easier for you to continue to breathe and function as a human while also doing this. Questions? Go ahead and drop it down below. Make sure you check out the playlist as we continue to help educate you on direct sales and how you can make this effective, efficient, and profitable for you as you are selling your books directly to your fans.